And now, it's The Law Show on CL 650. A comprehensive look at everything you need to know about the law.
Okay, what I mentioned it before the break. What do you do when somebody first comes in? So walk me through. I come to you and I say, David, I found you. I listened to the show on CL. I'm calling you up. I want to come in. What happens?
Okay. Well, first thing is when someone contacts me, I put them through to my assistant, and she takes all the basic information of the two parties and does a conflict search, because we have to make sure we only have acted for one of the parties and that they haven't consulted any other lawyer in the office.
Now, that's the whole firm, or is that just the family law department?
The whole firm.
So you could have somebody working on your tax stuff for your business at McQuarrie Hunter, and then you say, I'm sorry, we can't represent.
Yeah, that could be a conflict.
Sure, okay.
So then the appointment's set up. They come in. We have a flat rate in our department for the first time they come in. And it's less than my hourly rate, but they come in and that's an all-in. They get about an hour of my time. But before they meet with me, they actually fill out a form that gives, again, the basic information in written form, plus their assets, liabilities, names of the children, etc. And then I meet with them and I sit down, and we usually try and do it in one of the boardrooms with a nice view. And because it's more of oddly enough, it's a calming thing when it's a nice day, you see mountains, it gives you something to talk about. So they'll come in and I'll talk about the view I have. Like someone came in earlier last week, I said, I can see all the way to San Juan Islands, all the way up to the mountains from my side of the office. Then I'll sit down and a general question, what brings you to see me today? And as I said earlier in the show, that sometimes 20 minutes later,
they catch their breath, right?
Exactly. Because, they may have been with someone for 20 years and they get an hour to find out what their rights are. And there's a lot they have to say before they even have a chance to ask me any questions. But it's actually, I like it when they do talking like that, because I get an idea what they're like, and I can have a pretty good idea what their issues are going to be, and I can frame it in my head for when it's my turn to talk.
You see the flags that might come up. Right?
Exactly.
Right. And just having done it for this long.
Yeah.
And then what happens? They become a client, and then you have regular meetings with them?
Well, yeah, so at the end of the meeting, I'll give them their various options, whether it be to start a court action if I think it's necessary at the time to protect themselves or their children or assets.
So it might be something like someone's being violent, for example?
Exactly. So there may be a need for a protection order.
Right. Or
Or there may be a risk of someone dissipating assets. My husband has said he's just going to transfer the money to the Cayman Islands, or my wife says she's going to run away to the States with the children. There may have to be a need for
immediate action, right?
Exactly. But usually, I say, okay, if they decide they're going to retain a lawyer, I'll send out a certain package for them and with various letters and requests for information that I come up with on each file as to what they need. But
so you need to know all the financial statements, right?
So send them away with some homework to set out a list of their assets, liabilities, documents supporting same, etc. And often I'll write a letter to the other party and say, look, I've been retained by X person. We'd like to try and keep it out of court. Please get your own lawyer. Please provide me with this information, and then we can sit down and see if we can resolve it without the need for court.
Now, what's the percentage of people that come in that don't know where that stuff is, that are in the dark? And you mentioned, you have a multicultural community in Surrey, maybe more so than other parts of the city, that you have maybe a spouse that doesn't have any information about the bank statements, insurance, any of that stuff. Does that happen?
Oh, yeah. It happens more often than I wish it did, because it just creates more work and more cost for everyone involved.
So how do you make sure you get the real information, not what the other person wants you to see?
Yeah. Well, often it's amazing the person has some idea as to what might be there. So I'll request a financial statement from the other party. It's a sworn document setting out their assets, liabilities.
It could be sworn, but they might withhold stuff. Right?
Yeah, well, you always have to look at everything with a cynical eye. As lawyers, I don't think we believe anything that anyone tells us, from the other side. We always have to be critical of it. But then we will ask for backing up documents. So they say they have a business. They say, I don't make any money on it. Well, they may not make money, but it may own a building that's gone up in value. And so you get,
or it might have income, but they write everything off in the business, right?
So we get backup documents from there, their bank statements, their credit cards, because sometimes someone says, I have no money, but you've seen all the cash flowing through their own bank statements or their company bank accounts. It's okay. So you say you made $20,000, but I see $300,000 going through your accounts in a 6-month period.
Or you're driving a Cadillac Escalade.
Exactly.
And, how do you pay for that lease every month, right?
Exactly. Like I had someone years ago I was acting for him, and he said he made $18,000, and he drove in with a Hummer, a brand new Hummer. It was like, well, I know that cost you $100,000. So, it doesn't always mesh. So it's getting as much information as we can so that we can then give our clients advice as to what possible outcomes are, because you can't agree to something if you don't know what you're agreeing to.